The elevator door slid open with a soft chime, and there you were, standing at the far end of the narrow hallway, looking down at your phone. My breath caught for a second, and I froze, clutching the handle of my small overnight bag. The dim golden glow of the hotel lighting painted your face in a way I hadn't seen before. It felt like the world paused. You weren't supposed to be here. Of all the places, of all the moments. And yet there you were, my ex, the person who used to make my heart race, standing only a few feet away. I should have said something, anything, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I did what I always do when I feel vulnerable. I glanced away, pretending not to notice. Hey, is that you? Your voice broke the silence, warm, familiar, yet hesitant, like you weren't sure if approaching me was the right thing to do. I turned slowly, the shyness in my heart blooming like fire I couldn't put out. My cheeks flushed instantly. Oh, hi, I didn't expect to see you here. The awkward exchange. You took a step closer, sliding your phone into your pocket. Yeah, it's been a while. I nodded, avoiding your gaze, my fingers gripping the strap of my bag so tightly I thought it might break. The air between us felt heavy, like it was holding secrets too big to be spoken aloud. What brings you here? You asked, your voice casual but layered with curiosity. My words faltered. Why did my voice always betray me around you? Just a work trip, nothing exciting. You smiled faintly, the corner of your lips tilting in that way that used to make my knees weak. Same, business meetings, late nights. You know how it is. I nodded again, feeling my heart race faster with every passing second. The invitation. Before I could think of an excuse to leave, you gestured toward the small lounge area near the elevators. Do you have a minute? It'd be nice to catch up, unless you're in a rush. I hesitated. Every rational part of me screamed that I should politely decline, go to my room, and leave this moment behind. But my heart, the traitor that it was, whispered something different. Sure, I said softly, my voice barely above a whisper. We sat across from each other on plush armchairs, the soft hum of the hotel ambiance filling the silence between our words. The conversation, so, how have you been? You asked, leaning forward slightly, your elbows resting on your knees. I shrugged, forcing a small smile. Good, busy, you know. Work keeps me on my toes. You nodded, studying me with that intense gaze I remembered all too well. It was the kind of look that made me feel like you could see straight through me, past my wings and into the things I tried to hide. And you? I asked, trying to shift the focus away from myself. Same, really. Work's been crazy. It's been different. There was a weight to your words, an unspoken depth that hung between us. I wanted to ask what you meant, but the shyness in me held me back. The unexpected moment. A silence settled between us, comfortable yet charged. I glanced down at my hands, fidgeting with the edge of my bag. Do you ever think about us? You asked suddenly, your voice low, almost hesitant. My eyes snapped up to meet yours, and for a moment I felt like the ground beneath me had disappeared. I don't know, I stammered, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. You leaned back slightly, running a hand through your hair. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's just seeing you here like this. It's bringing back a lot of memories. I nodded, my throat tight. Yeah, same. The elevator ride. After what felt like an eternity, you stood, offering me a small smile. I should probably let you get to your room, but it was really nice seeing you. I stood too, my legs feeling shaky beneath me. Yeah, you too. We walked toward the elevator together, the silence between us filled with words we were too afraid to say. As the elevator doors closed behind us, I felt the air shift. It was just the two of us now in this small, confined space. The hum of the elevator was the only sound, and my heart pounded in my chest. You glanced at me, your expression unreadable. You seem nervous, you said softly. I laughed quietly, the sound shaky. I guess I am. This feels strange. Good strange or bad strange? I hesitated, meeting your gaze. I don't know. Both, maybe. You nodded, your eyes searching mine. Yeah, same. The elevator stops. The elevator suddenly jolted to a stop, the lights flickering briefly before settling into a dim glow. I grabbed the handrail instinctively, my breath hitching. Whoa, you muttered, looking around. Looks like it's stuck. Panic crept into my chest as I stared at the floor numbers, frozen between the 9th and 10th. Are you serious? I whispered, my voice trembling. You pressed a button on the panel, but nothing happened. Looks like we're gonna have to wait this out. The small space suddenly felt even smaller. The air between us thickened, charged with unspoken tension. It's okay, you said, glancing at me with a reassuring smile. It's just a minor glitch. We'll be out of here soon. I nodded, hugging my arms to my chest. Yeah, I hope so. The tension builds. Minutes passed in silence, and the reality of our situation began to sink in. Alone in this tiny elevator with you, my ex, the one person who knew exactly how to unravel me with just a look. I could feel your eyes on me, even when I wasn't looking. The weight of your gaze made my skin tingle, and I shifted uncomfortably. You okay? You asked, your voice soft. Yeah, I said quickly, though my voice betrayed me. Doesn't seem like it, you replied, tilting your head. You're fidgeting. I laughed nervously, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. I'm just not great with small spaces. You stepped closer, your presence calming and overwhelming all at once. Hey, it's all right. I'm here. The confession. Your words made my heart ache in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. I looked up at you, my eyes meeting yours, and for a moment it felt like the rest of the world had disappeared. You've always been good at that, I said softly, my voice barely above a whisper. At what? You asked, your brow furrowing slightly, making me feel safe. You stared at me, your expression unreadable. I didn't realize I still did that. You do, I admitted, my cheeks flushing, even now. The vulnerable moment. The silence stretched between us, heavy with unspoken feelings. I could see the conflict in your eyes, the way you were holding back. I shouldn't say this, you began, your voice low, but I've missed you. My breath caught in my throat, and I felt my heart skip a beat. You have. Yeah, you admitted, running a hand through your hair. Seeing you here tonight, it's messing with my head. I didn't know what to say. The truth was, I'd missed you too, more than I ever wanted to admit. I've thought about you, I confessed, my voice barely audible, more than I should. You took a step closer, the space between us shrinking. Why didn't you ever say anything? Because I was scared, I admitted, my voice trembling, scared of what it would mean. The breaking point. The tension between us was unbearable, the air crackling with electricity. I could feel the heat radiating from your body, the scent of your cologne making my head spin. Tell me to stop, you said suddenly, your voice strained. If this is too much, just say the word, and I'll back off. But I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Instead, I looked up at you, my heart pounding in my chest, and whispered, "Don't stop." The kiss. In an instant, the distance between us vanished. Your lips were on mine, soft yet demanding, and I felt like I was drowning in you. My hands found their way to your chest, clutching your shirt as if it were the only thing keeping me grounded. You pulled me closer, your arms wrapping around me, as if you were afraid I might disappear. The kiss was everything, raw, passionate, and filled with all the emotions we'd kept bottled up for so long. When we finally pulled away, our breaths mingling in the small space, you looked at me with an intensity that made my knees weak. This is crazy, you said, your voice shaky. I know, I whispered, my fingers still clutching your shirt, but it feels right. The rescue, just as the moment threatened to spiral into something even deeper. The elevator jolted back to life. The lights brightened, and the hum of motion returned. We both stepped back, the spell broken, but the tension still lingering. As the doors opened on the next floor, you turned to me, your expression conflicted. We should talk about this. I nodded, my heart heavy with the weight of what had just happened. Yeah, we should. The aftermath. As we stepped out of the elevator, the world seemed blindingly bright and oppressively normal compared to the storm of emotions that had just passed between us. My cheeks burned, and I kept my gaze fixed on the floor, avoiding the questioning looks of a couple waiting to step into the now functioning elevator. You walked ahead slightly, running a hand through your hair, visibly tense. I followed, my heart hammering in my chest. The hallway stretched endlessly, and the echo of our footsteps seemed deafening. We stopped in front of your room first. You hesitated, the room key in your hand trembling slightly. "Do you want to come in?" you asked, your voice low. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. Every part of me screamed yes, but there was that tiny, rational voice in the back of my head reminding me of all the reasons why this was a bad idea. "Is that a good idea?" I asked, barely able to get the words out. You leaned against the doorframe, your shoulders sagging. "Probably not," you admitted, letting out a shaky laugh. "But I don't think I care right now." I took a step closer, my hand brushing against yours. The touch sent a jolt through me, and I saw the same spark flash in your eyes. "Then why are we standing out here?" I whispered, barely able to contain the fluttering in my chest. Inside the room, the door clicked shut behind us, sealing us away from the rest of the world. The room was dimly lit, the soft glow of the bedside lamp casting long shadows across the walls. I stood awkwardly near the door, unsure of what to do next, while you paced the room, your hands stuffed into your pockets. "You're nervous," you said finally, breaking the silence. "Of course I'm nervous," I shot back, crossing my arms over my chest. "This is a lot." You stopped pacing and turned to me, your eyes locking onto mine. "It doesn't have to be," you said softly. "We don't have to do anything you're not ready for." I let out a shaky breath, my fingers fidgeting with the hem of my shirt. "It's not about being ready," I admitted. "It's about everything else. You, me, what this means." You stepped closer, your movements slow and deliberate, like you didn't want to spook me. When you were close enough to touch, you reached out and gently took my hand. "Let's not think about what it means," you said, your voice barely above a whisper. "Just be here, with me, right now." The vulnerable moment. Your words melted the last of my resolve. I let you pull me into your arms, the warmth of your embrace grounding me in a way nothing else could. My cheek pressed against your chest, and I could hear the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. "I missed this," I murmured, my voice muffled against your shirt. "Me too," you replied, your hand running gently through my hair. We stood like that for what felt like forever, the weight of the world falling away. It wasn't just about desire, it was about connection, the kind of connection that had always been there, even when we tried to pretend otherwise. The confession. You pulled back slightly, just enough to tilt my chin up so I was looking into your eyes. "I never stopped loving you," you admitted, your voice trembling, "even when I tried to move on. It was always you." Tears stung my eyes, and I bit my lip, trying to hold them back. "I never stopped loving you either," I whispered. The words hung in the air between us, heavy and raw. "I don't know what this means," you said after a moment, your thumb brushing a tear from my cheek. "But I know I can't pretend anymore. I want you, all of you." My heart ached at the vulnerability in your voice. I reached up, cupping your face in my hands. "Then take me," I said softly. "I'm yours." The slow unraveling. The tension between us finally broke, giving way to something deeper, something tender. You kissed me softly at first, as if testing the waters, and then more urgently, as though you couldn't get enough. Your hands were everywhere, tracing the curve of my back, threading through my hair, holding me as if I might vanish. I clung to you just as desperately, my fingers digging into your shoulders. Every touch, every kiss felt like a promise to never let go again. The night stretches on time seemed to blur as we lost ourselves in each other. The room was filled with soft whispers, gentle laughter, and the occasional hitch of breath. You treated me like I was something precious, something to be cherished. Every movement was deliberate, every touch filled with unspoken love. And when the night finally gave way to quiet stillness, we lay tangled together, the world outside feeling like a distant memory. I don't want this to end, I whispered, my fingers tracing lazy patterns on your chest. It doesn't have to, you replied, pressing a kiss to the top of my head.